Ready to embark on a journey of limitless curiosity? Join us on the Being Curious Show, where we curiously connect teachers and seekers in a safe space, exploring a vast array of topics that spark the flame of curiosity within you. We've created a community for thoughtful discussions where teachers share their wisdom and seekers explore the depths of their curiosity. It's a space where diverse perspectives come together, fostering connection and understanding. Our intention is simple: to ignite your curiosity and create a life that totally lights you up. Hello, beautiful ones. It's Kelly. How are you today? Welcome to the Being Curious Show. We are going to jump into a fun one. I always love when I get to interview authors that are doing amazing things in the world, right? And I'm a stickler for hard copy books. I love them. And Elizabeth, who's on our show today, was so generous to send this to me. And I was pre-show. I was commenting to her how much I love the soft copy of it. I love how large it is. If everyone knows me, I have huge handwriting, right? And this is a great tool and a great book. And I just love so much about it. It's Elizabeth Gordon, and it's Play the Part, Manifest Your Dream Life and Self with these 5 acting techniques. I'm so curious about having Elizabeth on the show and jumping in because it's serendipity is so much fun. And we'll talk about how I had some private sessions this morning and it was like leading up, like teed up to this interview. So this is going to be a fantastic one. And I just love how the universe works. So without further ado, Elizabeth Gordon, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you, Kelly. So fun. We're finally doing this.
We're finally doing this. Talk about all the crazy things that had to happen for this interview. But
I know.
I'm so excited.
I love it. It's a divine delay.
Well, tell us a little bit about yourself.
So my name is Elizabeth, and my first love was acting. Absolutely. When I was a teenager. Can you hear me? Hear me? Yeah? Okay.
You know what I want to do is, okay, so how about this? Let's do, we're recording this. You know what? I'm going to keep it rolling because I don't want to do the new StreamYard because I couldn't hear you because you kind of glitched. Let's just start this over.
Okay.
And we'll just kind of do it because I don't know, my third time's a charm today. But I'm not going to end the recording.
Okay.
And I'm just going to run, you know what? Let's just do this. I'll let Steve edit it. It'll be fine.
Okay.
I'm just gonna act like I'm just gonna redo everything.
Okay.
But I'm not gonna play the intro. So you'll see it. It's all good.
Okay.
I'm so sorry about I've never had to restart a show twice before. This is just crazy.
It's fine.
Stand by. Hello, everybody. Kelly Wagner, publisher, Edge Magazine, and the host of the Being Curious Show. Today, we have Elizabeth Gordon on. She is the author of Play the Part, Manifest Your Dream Life and Self with these 5 acting techniques. I love this book. I love the hard copy. I love the size. My handwriting's huge. And I'm really, really like it took 3 times for us to get this show going and together and connected. And I'm just so excited to bring Elizabeth on to the show. Hello, Elizabeth. Welcome to the Being Curious Show.
Thank you,
Okay,
Kelly.
we got it this time. We got it.
We got it. Yay.
Okay. So let's just jump right in. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Like why well, first let's talk a little bit about your acting credits and what you've done in that world because you've been very, very involved. And then you decided to write a book. The stage is yours.
Yes. So here's the best way that I can describe my acting career and my acting experience. So I did everything from theater, film, TV, live events, all of that. I moved to LA when I was 22 and was in the business. I was an actress, a producer, kind of everything in between. This is the best way I can describe my career. It is very hard for me to watch anything, whether it is a movie, TV, without seeing somebody that I know. I think that I was watching a show and in one episode I saw 4 people that I knew and I was like, wow. So I mean, I was in LA for about 16 years doing it. So you really, if you
What
were
did you
in,
think of LA? I really wanna ask you as an intuitive, as this what is because I know it's a dream and it's like this mecca, but, like, what give us a little bit of, like tell us about LA.
oh my God, LA. Okay, so LA has a very heavy energy, definitely.
Mhm.
But when the fires hit, somebody said this about LA, and I was like, what a great description. So basically, LA is this wonderful cornucopia of what I would think all the black sheep in the family that come together to create art. And this was, I didn't say that. This is somebody that said that when the fires
Yeah.
hit and we saw everything coming together. And I will say, when I moved to LA when I was 22, God, it was so exciting. It was so exciting. And to be in the center of where so many of these amazing films had been created as a 22-year-old, and I'm now, in my mid 40s, it was absolutely overwhelming, scary, amazing, terrifying, like all of those things. And
Everything
there's a
all at once.
buzz. Yeah, everything. There's a buzz in Los Angeles that you just don't really feel anywhere else. Now, I will say, present moment, I think LA is going through a little bit of a rebirth just because
Mhm.
of the fires, because of all the stuff going on in the industry, the writer's strike, all of these things, AI. So I really feel lucky that I was at a time where you still sent resumes and headshots via messenger to casting studios and to producers. Like, this was just at the time where the internet was like getting kind of popular, but you still did the old stuff. Like, I mean, I had black and white headshots when I first got there. Color was not really in yet. So I feel like I had this great experience of the two worlds coming together, but I still got some of that old Hollywood vibe, because I remember like going to auditions, like 3, 4 auditions in a day. And you were going from like, Studio City, like into Hollywood, into West LA, like down into Santa Monica. And you'd call your agent, be like, okay, well, I don't know about this one, but this one I think went okay. So it was exciting. I mean, I will say at the time I was so ambitious that sometimes it felt stressful because I just wanted to do so well. And acting really was my first love. Like, it was my first love. It was the first thing that I threw myself into with just abandon. I loved it. I loved everything about it. And people may ask why, and here's why. And here connects back to the book a little bit. Acting was the first time that I felt like I could express parts of myself that I was not allowed to express in my real life,
Mm,
whether it was because of my family, whether it was like a certain group of friends. Like, there were a lot of things I felt like I had to keep hidden about myself. And so when I went into acting and I got to play these like really strong women characters that were allowed to be powerful, they were allowed to speak their mind, they were allowed to be bitchy or mean if they wanted to, and I didn't get in trouble for this. I was
right.
able to do this and not get in trouble, and it awakened parts of myself, confidence, self-love, self-worth, that I had never felt when I was growing up. And so that's why I think there's definitely an addiction to it a little bit, because
Mhm.
you feel seen, you feel loved, you feel accepted. And Bertolt Brecht, who I talk a little bit about in the book, he was a German playwright and philosopher. And he said that the reason we love to watch movies and we love to go to the theater is that we experience a catharsis. As the audience, we experience this catharsis with the actors, with what they're going through, because we see ourselves in these characters.
Mm,
Even if we wouldn't necessarily take the same action or say the same thing, there's something that is so powerful about saying, wow, like, that's inside of me and this person is feeling it too. So I'm not disconnected. I'm not alone. And this is a great segue to manifesting, which
yep.
is, oh my gosh, who you are being is everything in terms of manifesting. And this is basically, that is the basic tenet of it. All of these other techniques, all of the tricks, all of the, even my book, all the techniques, this is all about, who are you being? Who do you
Mm.
want to really be?
How are you
And
showing up?
how are you showing up? And so many of us, we will shrink ourselves or not say something or not do something. One reason is we want belonging. Our nervous system wants belonging, it wants safety. And so we're like, oh God, if I do that or say that, like this person may leave me and abandon me. But
Right.
here's the deal. How much are we abandoning ourselves? And really, how much are we abandoning ourselves for the idea of these relationships or the idea of something? And so at the end of the day, when you lie your head on the pillow, it's
Mhm.
really about asking, did I show up the way that I wanted to today? And this is
Yes.
not about perfection. This is
No.
not about beating yourself up either. This is
Mm-mm.
really, like you said, about being curious. How did I show up today? How did it feel to me? Like, what are the things that came up in my body? Like, how did I walk into the room? And energy is the one language that we all speak. And so we all know these people that walk into the room and they just seem to have so much confidence. And we're like, wow, who is that? And we're drawn to them. But what we need to realize is we all have that inside of us. It's
Mhm.
really just about allowing yourself to explore it. And so that's what the book is for. It's really this guidepost of, here are some things that you can look at. Here are some things that you've probably been doing that may not feel so great. And here are some ways that you can start, playing the part, walking as this person. So, and when I say play the part, this isn't about inauthenticity or anything. This is really about, what is my truth in this moment? What is my authentic response?
Try
And
it on. And that's like the
yeah,
actress, like you got to try on being courageous. You got to try on being this, try
yes.
on being that, and like feel it and resonate with it. And that's what I'm feeling what you're saying is it's
Mhm.
not about being inauthentic.
No.
It was I don't know why this is coming up, but did you see I think it was The Man on the Moon. It was when Jim Carrey played
Oh, yeah,
Andy
Andy
Kaufman.
Kaufman?
Right?
Yes.
But then 20 years later, they did, like, a special on him and how he, like, went deep. I mean, if you want if we wanna, like if he wasn't channeling Andy, I don't know who
Yes,
was, like,
exactly.
right? Right? And
Yes.
when REM asked him to to do the music video after he had rapped, after Andy had left the building, Jim Carrey said, "No, I'm not going there. I'm not inviting him back in." And actually 20 years later, he was like, "I should have done it because
I know.
I could have done it because that was a great video." Like, right? But it's like that's just an extreme example of just like really taking it in. And again, I don't know why well, I'm channeling today, so there.
Yeah, you're
Cheers.
channeling too. We're all channeling,
Yeah,
and it's
we all do.
beautiful.
Yeah.
And yes, and that is a great point because there are we have so many parts of us that we have shoved down. Now, a lot of this is, I'm sure other guests have talked about this on your show. All of this mostly comes from childhood. Unless you had a fantastic childhood and then you had something maybe kind of crappy happen to you later that got stuck in there, that got stuck in your nervous system. Most of us are really dealing with lessons and perceptions and things that we were told that are not true for us. They were true for these people, and we went along with it because as children we have to have like a bridge to our survival. So
Yeah.
if you had a difficult parent, I mean, I had a difficult parent, there's all kinds of things that we do in order to play the role of, I need to get my needs met here. And a lot of times it is about these protective patterns that your nervous system makes up. This is people pleasing, this
Yep.
is being apathetic about things. This is all the things that we do to protect ourselves. But when you decide, when you are really like, wow, I am powerful. Like, you guys, we are made of stardust. Like, and you're worried. I mean, and then we worry about the stupidest things. And it's like, a lot of this is just because we were programmed to. But if you really if you truly take in, like, I am a soul that is in a body, and we are on the earth that is spinning really fast in this momentous universe. When you really take that in, you are going to feel a strength and a confidence, and you're going to walk that way. And I guarantee you, your life, your perception of your life is going to start changing fast. And I can give you an example. Let me give you a quick example.
Yes, I was
So,
like, "Give me a personal story.
yeah,
Give
okay.
me that."
Here's
Right,
a
yeah.
perfect example. Okay, so I'm taking this really cool money class. It's all about personal finance with this woman. She's great. And so I was doing her video series and she asked us to take like a scary action. And I was like, oh God. And I took it and I was like, what makes me so like stressed out about this? Like, what is that? And I thought, oh, that's the old way that I have thought about money or prosperity or whatever. But if I take this action right now, I'm going to be a new person in this moment because I'm choosing something that I've never chosen before. So what I did was I went on and I did some stuff with my credit reports, like just making sure that they're safe and all this kind of stuff. But Kelly, the whole time my hands were shaking. Like I was just like, oh my God, am I allowed to do this? Like, am I allowed to take to protect myself? And all of these things started coming up. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to listen to myself. Wow, this is like my nervous system is like screaming at me right now. Like, what are you doing? This is really scary. But I kept going. And while I was activated, I took the new action. And do you know, I was on a high for like 5 days after that. Like I was like, I'm a millionaire. That's it. I'm so prosperous. Like, look at who I am. I'm this woman that takes these scary actions and they come out fine. And I feel so protected and good and connected to myself. And that is the power of like first deciding and then moving forward with an action. And you guys, it doesn't have to be big. Like you don't need to go, and audition for like the ballet or something. Sometimes the smallest actions will implode inside of you and you will be like, wow. And sometimes it's just a matter of saying to yourself, you know what? I'm actually going to tell so and so that they really hurt me when they said this. Do you know how much bravery that takes? Like when we watch movies and stuff and characters, are just very blithely like telling people how they feel. That's not usually the way it is for us. Like being vulnerable is very scary. But the more you do it, the more you see yourself as someone who's brave, and the more you see yourself as someone who can walk through those experiences with a lot of grace and peace. And so I the reason why acting techniques can be so powerful here is because it's giving you another way to observe yourself. It's really letting you see like I am playing a part when I do that. And this doesn't mean that we're fake, but what you got to understand is you call up parts of yourself when the situation calls for it. So someone who says, well, I would never do that or I would never do this. And I think that's not true. Like if you were put in the situation, you would find a way to do that because the circumstances and acting is just, it's basically reacting truthfully to imaginary circumstances. That's what acting is. So we can just translate this to our life. Like if I really believe that I am totally taken care of, no matter if there's delays, no matter if something, doesn't happen, if I know intrinsically, like, no, I am always taken care of. That's who I am. You're going to start to see evidence. Things will take care of themselves without even you doing anything about it. You'll get answers and support like from places that you never thought possible. So much of this is really about what is the side of myself that I'm showing here? And why do I bring out that side with this person or that person? And the more, this is all about feeling good, and all goes back to feeling good. How can you feel your best in a way that gives you the energy during your day to look back and go, wow, I really conquered that. Like, that's cool. Like, I'm a badass. Like, and this is also not about, being arrogant. It's not about that. This is really about understanding you are holy. You are worthy. I mean, you are divine consciousness. We are not a piece of it. You're all of it. Every single one of us is all of it. So sometimes just knowing that helps people to realize their power and to step into their lives with a sense of awareness and really a sense of a deep self-love, because it all comes from you. Like the money comes from you, the relationships come from you, the success, the peace, like all of this is inside of us. There's nothing that you need to worry about out here. This is really just like the mirror. And I heard this, and I hope this will help somebody. So we don't look at a mirror like, let's say, this morning you got dressed and you're like, let me see what I look like. When you don't like your outfit, you don't look at the mirror and say, "Ah, mirror, change, like change this outfit." You have to change. And
Yeah.
so then the reflection gets different. And if you want to talk about the quantum realm never says no to you. It just reflects what you believe about yourself. It is a
Yeah.
placebo effect. So if you say like, "Ugh, this day sucks and like my life is really hard," the quantum field goes, "Yeah, it does." Like it loves you so much. It doesn't say no to you. I hear a lot of spiritual people say, well, sometimes the universe says no. Not really. It just reflects back what you're believing about yourself. So if you're like, "Oh my God, I'm so broke," the universe is like, "We love you so much. We're reflecting back to you your same beliefs, the placebo effect. That's right. You are broke. Here's some more experiences that show you that you're broke because we really love you. So we want to keep showing you the reflection of what you're giving us." But if you start to change that story, and it's all story, all of this is the story that we tell ourselves. Most of it's completely untrue. If
Right.
you really just start simply, "Wow, I actually have this much money in my bank account. I'm not broke. That's just a story I'm telling myself." And you focus on that, and then you focus on the feeling of, "Oh, I just challenged myself to see myself differently and it worked." That feeling will continue the more you nurture it.
Yeah.
So really the acting techniques are really a guide for you to be like, okay, like characterization is the first one.
Yeah, I was
And
about to say, let's launch into some of
yeah,
these.
let's go
Let's not
into
give
some of
away
these.
everything because
No, we
we
won't
want
give
we
away
know
anything.
that, like,
I'll
but
talk
let's
about
like the
3.
top, yeah, 3. I was just about to
I'll
say,
do
let's
the
talk about the
3.
top 3.
I'll
Go
leave
for it.
the last 2 because they're my favorite, so you'll have to get the book to
Of
see those,
course.
but the last 2 are really gonna help you, especially the 5th technique, which is amazing. The 5th
Woohoo!
technique actually brings in all the other 4. It's actually an acting technique that I used in a theater company for many years, and it's very, very cool. You will not look at yourself in the same way after you read the 5th technique. But let's talk about the first 3. So, characterization. So when an actor comes to a role, they're asking themselves, how does this person look? How do they talk? How do they dress? How do they carry themselves? All of this stuff. And a lot of times for actors in like if you're, especially if you're doing a play, and they do this on movies too, but if you're doing a play, a lot of times during the rehearsal process, you will wear the shoes or the coat or the dress that you're going to wear because you move differently in these things.
Mhm.
And when you move differently, and there's lots of studies on, posture and smiling and how this all affects us, but you move differently in different things. And so for characterization in the book, you'll get a whole bunch of questions about your most aligned self. How do they dress? How do you want to carry yourself? Like,
I've even
what are
heard that your
they like?
scent, like
Yes,
changing your scent for different,
yes,
right? And what is, because
yes,
like that's like the sensory. So does a
yes.
person wear glasses, or does a person I just switched to rose oil. And so it's like
Mhm.
I love roses now. Like, right? So it's all of, it's like that embody, it's trying it on. And it's
Yes, it's totally trying it on. And you can have so much. This is why it's so much fun. And like the 30-day program in the back, it's very body centric. So you're getting your nervous system involved. But like, for example, for your characterization, just to give the viewers an example of what they would do during the 30 days with like your characterization, you're going to pick something in your wardrobe that makes you feel absolutely fantastic. And you can pick a whole outfit. You can pick shoes. You can just pick underwear if you want. Like, oh, I'm wearing my sexy underwear. And like that makes you feel differently, right? Nobody ever has to know. But
right.
what they will know is when you walk into a room and you're wearing like your sexy red underwear that only you
Yeah.
know about, and you're kind of have this little secret, people are going to notice you. They're going to be like, what's going on with you today? Like, you're carrying yourself differently. What's happening
Like,
to you?
I know.
I know. You're just like, that's fun, right? So, characterization, big, big exploration into what are the choices that you're making? How are they making you feel? And like, what are you putting on your body? What are you saying to yourself? Like, this is all in the workbook that you're going to do. And you're going to discover so many things about yourself that you didn't even realize that you did, like habits, things that you do over and over that you're like, wow, I did not realize that I'm wearing these ugly shoes that I hate, but I keep doing it because it's just a habit. I'm going to put on some different shoes today. And I bet you anything, when you put on those different shoes, you're going to walk differently and the world is going to respond to you differently. So this is pretty instantaneous. Like
Well, it is.
once
It's like
you
when you get your
have
hair
fun.
done. right?
Yes,
It's just like
yes.
and someone styles it and it just looks amazing and you're just like, "Oh my god, I can't do that at home." Like, "But could you?" Like,
Yes,
right?
of course,
Oh,
of
yeah, it's this
course.
little and it all adds up and those little beautiful, I love it. Okay,
Yes.
characterization. What's number 2?
Characterization. So the second one is motivation. Why
Mm,
are you doing these things? So for an actor, it would be like, why am I in this relationship? Why? I mean, if let's say we're talking about like a darker character, like a serial killer, like why do I want to kill these people? Like you have to get to the basis. Oh, and here's something I really want to say about motivation. You cannot become somebody that you don't like or despise. So for example, let's just do money because that's a big one for most people. So if you're looking at rich people and you're going, oh, there's actually like a lot of judgment, like, oh, well, I don't really like the way that person's spending their money, or I don't like their attitude, or I don't like this. Guess what? First of all, that's your perception. They may not really be doing that. Now, the second thing is, which is more important, is you cannot become somebody that you don't like. Like, if you are judging these people, but you also want to be rich, but inside your nervous system is like, that's unsafe. Like, we don't like that person. You don't want to become that person. Guess what? It's never going to happen. You
right,
really need to understand why. Why do I want to feel rich? Why? And the thing is, you want a feeling. Everybody wants a feeling. Every experience is about a feeling. That's it. If I handed you $1 million today and it was just money, like it was just but I was like, Kelly, this doesn't have any value and you can't use it for anything. And, here you go. Like it's just a stack of paper. Well, you would feel nothing. Like, so the feeling is the experience. But if I handed you $1 million and it was really $1 million, you'd probably feel a whole slew of things like, oh, relief and expansion and safety and fun and freedom and like all of this great stuff. That's why we want everything. Why do we want relationships? Like it's because we want to feel loved and connection. So if you can reduce everything to a feeling, you're golden, because a lot of stuff that you want might be eliminated once you get it down to a feeling. Like you might be like, oh, that's what I want. Well, if I want that feeling, I can just do this, like I don't
right.
need to be stressed about that. So motivation, not only for actors is huge, but for what are you doing in your life? You're creating the story of your life. And so it's like, why? Why are you eating that? Why are you going to lunch with this person? Why are you deciding to keep going to this job? Well, and this doesn't mean you have to quit your job right away. It just means, why am I doing this job? Let me just actually ask myself this, because so much of us are on autopilot. It's just the way it is. And so when we interrupt these programs, we really
Yes.
start to see like, whoa, like I have a lot more choice here than I realized. And by the way, you will be motivated by circumstances you're in and situations that present themselves and relationships that you're in. So never say never. Just don't do that to yourself. Like never say, well, I could never be that or never be this. Why? Like those people are just deciding that, uh, no matter what you feel about billionaires, I can guarantee you they're not going around worrying about what we think about them.
No, they
they're
don't.
actually they're not worried about that.
No.
They are focused on who they are, their self-concept of being this person. And guess what? It just keeps getting bigger because the universe is like, oh, you think you're a billionaire? Here you go. And so many of us get upset, like, like that's not fair. But the thing is, you have that inside of you too.
Mhm.
We are not that different from Jeff Bezos. It's just that he is making different decisions. That's it. That is it. And the more you do this, the more you're going to see that. I just want to say something too. 95% by the time you're 35, and I'm 46. So by the time you're 35, 95% of your actions are just memorized neurological programs. And so when you can interrupt these programs and say to yourself, oh my gosh, I totally see that I'm doing that. Like, how can I give myself some grace and love here?
Mhm.
Believe me, you're going to experience transformation pretty quickly. So
Absolutely.
this is the next, and this is great. Segues into visualization, which is the
Sure
third
does.
one. So, oh man, our brains, first of all, your body, your nervous system is extremely powerful. Your nervous system processes more information in a second than your brain will in a couple of days. It's insane how much the nervous system processes. And that affects your brain. What are you thinking about? how safe you feel in your body is what is actually giving way to the thoughts that you have. So, visualization. Now, this is also called emotional recall, which I do talk about too, for actors. And what this is a technique where, let's say you have to play a scene where you're breaking up with somebody. And you're like, oh gosh, I got to get to that emotional place. You may go and do a little visualization exercise where you remember and you take your brain and body through a past experience where you had these really intense emotions, and it helps you to access this. But we can also do this for future stuff. So I know a lot of people in the spiritual community, they kind of poo-poo visualization, but we are visualizing all the time. You are visualizing things constantly. You're constantly using your imagination. We're always manifesting. So you're constantly using your imagination, usually for pretty negative things, like you're replaying old conversations in your head with someone that pissed you off, or you're thinking of a memory from 5th grade where you're like, oh, that was really embarrassing. So we're always visualizing. This is about making sure that we are going in a positive direction and to a direction that you want to create. So with visualization, you've got to get your emotions involved. And so when you start to think about these scenes that you want to create in your life, maybe you get an award at work, or you meet a really great person, or you get
someone
offered
smiles at you on the
someone,
street
yes,
and
someone
they say
smiles
you
at
look
you.
great today. Like that's
Yes,
works too.
it works too. And so sitting down for a couple minutes a day and just going into this and having fun. Now, as kids, we did this all the time. And this when you watch children. And if you watching children, especially 7 and under, is really, really good to see how they are just so in tune with their imagination. And we lose that as we grow up because our brain waves go into a different set of frequency, but we can always access this. And so sitting down for a couple of minutes and asking yourself, like, what do I really want to feel? Like, and a big one for me is I picture people congratulating me for something. And that is like very, very visceral for me. And you will start to feel it in your whole body. And your nervous system, I want to say this because it's important. Your nervous system is really the thing that you are trying to reprogram here. We talk a lot about the brain, and that's important, but your nervous system was formed before your brain in the womb. So you have to remember that the stuff that's going on in your body, we are chemical, not only emotional beings, we're chemical beings. So when you're changing the chemistry of your body and you're showing your nervous system, hey, we can expand here a little bit. This is safe for me to have this. You're going to start feeling like you want to take a little more risk and a little more risk and a little more risk, and taking actions after you do these visualizations, taking these actions that reconfirm that feeling. But it will also happen naturally. Like you said, Kelly, somebody may stop you and be like, hey, I really love your hair. Or like, and this, take it all in. This is not just about manifesting $1 million. This is about walking as much as you can, feeling amazing and remembering who you are, which is your stardust, literally walking around on this planet. And I want you guys to just take something in this week. Just as you go out during your day, just observe them. And you will notice that many people just are going through the motions. Like there's a lot of times you'll talk to people and you can kind of tell that there's like, not that there's not a lot going on, but they're in a
I was gonna say
program.
there's nobody's home.
Yeah, no one's home because they're in a program, right? Like their brain
Right.
and their body are just like, oh, this is just what we say when we're in this conversation. And this will really give you insight to when you're in a program, and you can ask yourself like, oh my gosh, like I just said yes to that and I really didn't want to. Like I think this is the other thing that you start to see is that you'll see when you people please. You'll see when you acquiesce. You'll see when you call up certain parts of yourself to become safe or protect yourself. And I'm not saying get rid of this stuff. I'm just saying observe it, become aware of it. And when it happens and when you're in the moment, you can be like, oh my gosh, I'm experiencing myself as this person who it always people pleases with this person, and I don't want to do that anymore. So I'm going to say, you know what, Janet, I actually don't want to come to your your dinner tomorrow night. Like, I'm just too tired. So thank you for inviting me. And I'm going to tell you guys, you are going to feel so powerful. You're not going to want to go back. And I say that in the book too. When you start to feel this confidence, this peace, like we talked about at the beat, like this peaceful way of existing with yourself, it's going to be very hard to go back. Now, your nervous system may want to take you back there and be like, hey, maybe we shouldn't be so like honest about that, or blah, blah, blah. But you need to really ask yourself, am I pleasing this person or am I pleasing myself? And I have to live with myself all the time. Like, we're not in anyone else's experience but ours. So
Right.
you are the one experiencing your life. You're the one experiencing that regret. You're the one experiencing that stress. Probably not this other person that you feel is maybe pressuring you or doing something like that. So when you
The
think
power of
about
saying
like,
no,
yeah, the power of
like,
saying no.
right? And
Oh,
it's
and
not like it's been
yes.
saying, oh, it's been floating over your head, by the way, for the last like 5 minutes. Like the power of saying no, it's not a negative thing. It's actually an
No.
invitation. And keep going because like I just wanted to tee
Well,
you up.
no,
Power of saying no.
I'm glad that you said that, because really the more that you say no, the more space you open up for yourself. And this is
Mhm.
this connects to when you feel negative emotion, fear, anxiety, anger, please, please, please send these so much love, because when these things come up in the body, these are things that have not ever been felt before, given witness to. And so if you feel really pissed off or vulnerable or scared or doubtful, sit with it, ask it what it wants. Hey, I feel this doubt coming up, and I know you need to teach me something. What can you tell me? And I had a nervous system teacher once that told me this, and it blew my mind. She said, the more that you feel these things and then you surrender them to your higher power, to the universe, whatever, she's like, you just created space in your body for something else to come in. And so this is not about denial, or because I know there's a lot of teachers that are like, just be positive all the time. That's not possible. We are human, and we're going to have these things, but you can show up for these things in a different way. Show up for your fear differently, your anger, your sacred rage. This is when your boundaries have been violated. So listen to that. Your
Yeah.
sadness, all of this is part of the spectrum of our experience. So the way that you can experience it better is to give it witnessing. And a lot of us were told as kids, this is especially for our nervous systems, stop crying, stop responding, stop reacting,
Yeah.
stop crying. You guys, this is the most detrimental thing that we could have been told, because to cry is to release. It's your nervous system's way of getting reset and rebalanced. So you're going to have moments. You might be in the grocery store, you might be driving your car, you might just be taking a walk, and you're going to burst out crying. Please, please let yourself do that.
Go with it.
Go with it. You don't need to know why. Like, you don't even need to add, you can just be like, oh God, I feel such sadness and I just want to cry. Let it happen, because what's going on is that sadness that maybe you felt when you were 3 or 4 and you weren't allowed to feel got shoved way down. And
To your
now it's like,
toes.
yeah, to your toes. And now it's like, hi, I would really like
To come out.
to be felt. I'd really like some witnessing and love here. And this goes back to self-love. Manifesting, what it really is about self-connection, because I know everyone on this call has experienced this. Maybe you put out an intention, like, I want an apology from this person, or I want $100 to come to me today randomly, or whatever it is. When it happens, the thing that we actually feel, that moment of like, oh my God, it happened. Like, wow, what we're really feeling is self-connection. That is what we really, really want, is like the rendezvous with ourselves, the rendezvous with our deliciousness. My spiritual teacher always says, like, you are so yummy and delicious, like, you need to savor that. And so that's what manifesting is. She's like, when you have a goal that you meet and you feel that deep sense of satisfaction and fulfillment, she's like, that's self-connection. That is the self-connection of, I am source, I am the light, I am the Shekinah, I am it. I don't need to be concerned about this stuff out here, because like I said, everything is about a feeling. So if you are playing certain parts in your life and, maybe it's something that is just kind of small. Like maybe you always say yes when you don't want to, or
Right.
there's somebody at your job that always makes little comments and you're just like, God, that's so rude, but I just don't say anything because I don't want to piss them off. I'm going to give you permission right now to just be curious about that in your mind. Talk to that person at your office and just say, and this is where the techniques come in. You get to practice. So I'm not going to give away the last two because those are
Nope.
really the physical ones and you guys will love them. But this is the power of practice. Practice makes perfect. Talk to that person in your mind in a loving way. So say, if I was the person that was brave to tell this person at my office to stop doing that, or to say, that really makes me feel yucky when you say that, or when you're spreading that energy, practice it in your mind, because I guarantee you that person lives inside of you. Because if you weren't having a response, like if you just walked through and you didn't pay any attention, fine. But if it happens and every time your body responds, you got to know that there's a part of you that's down there that's like, oh no, 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 this is not going to fly with me anymore. Like maybe it flew when I was 10 or 15 or 25, but it's not going to fly now. And doesn't mean you have to be mean. It just means you practice it in your mind. And believe me, the universe will give you an opportunity to talk to this person or to say your piece or just to be this different version of yourself. So yeah, I love when like when I'm working with clients and they say, man, I got my manifestation, but the best part was the feeling. And I'm like, yeah. And that means you can feel that all the time. And guess what? The manifestations will just keep
Well, they'll
coming.
keep coming, but then it's also the process, like, right?
Yes.
So it's
Yeah.
not just what's the analogy? It's not the destination, it's the journey to I'm saying it
Mhm.
wrong, but you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
And so how can and that satisfaction is beautiful, but it's also being peaceful in the process getting there and people
Yeah.
being brave to be open-minded. It's being brave to go to that person that does these I have a mother-in-law who likes to just like, she says these things and you look at her and you're just like, "Really? Really?"
Yeah.
I've actually described it as she likes to come in the room and fart,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Because
Yeah.
and it's really or pass gas or whatever, but I think fart.
Mhm.
It's a and then it dissipates and it leaves. It's
Yes.
not like she wants to come in and totally crap on your day and do this, and you know how some people want she just wants to come in a room and a fart and go, "Who did that?" And then
Yep.
leave,
Yep.
right? And it's
Yep.
like and now we're like, "Oh, you farted." And
Mhm.
but that's okay. It'll
Mhm.
go away. I don't know why we're talking about farting, but, like, it was but my husband carried it for so many years, and everyone around her carried it, and I'm like, "Oh, no, your mom just wants to come in and fart. It's okay.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
okay for her to do that." And it's like,
Yeah.
"Okay, we hold space." And that's a and my and what's interesting, my husband's perspective changed so much when I did it like that. He was like, "Oh, yeah, my mom's just farting. It's okay." Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's not like we don't come back from a family thing like he used to, and he'd be like, "Ah, ah, ah, ah," and just all upset about it. Now it's just like, "Oh, yeah, mom just farted." And it's
Yeah.
like, "Whoop." I don't know,
Yep.
we're talking farting. Today was a
Well,
fart
I
day.
and I think it's like you just realize that so many of this stuff really isn't personal. I mean, it can
No.
feel personal,
Yep.
but actually it's personal to that person that's going through it. So
Right.
when you understand that like everybody, and I think this too, everyone is probably doing the best they can with what they learned. And just because someone is older doesn't mean that they've had any growth. Like that just means that
Nope.
they've gone through years of maybe doing the same program. But I want to say this too, just to get it in everyone's mind, because this helps me too. There is We live in this reality with an ego that has contrasts and stuff like that. And so we experience this separateness. But what I want to say is there's really nowhere to get to. You are already divine, you're already a soul. It's complete. Now, if you want to, yes, experience things in this physical world, that's wonderful. But don't go into it thinking I'm incomplete without this money, because that's exactly what you'll reflect back, that feeling of incompleteness. But if you come
Or
to
without having children, or without having
yes,
this job, or without being with
exactly.
a partner, like, no, you
Yes.
are divine.
You are divine. You don't need any of that. I mean, if you
Mhm.
were just sitting in a field with absolutely no possessions, no money, no, you would still be as divine as you are now. These physical things are literally just reflections of all of that divinity, all of that thought, all of that creativity. That is the purpose of life, is to create. That's it. Like,
How
people
do
want to make it. Go ahead.
How do people release judgment? How do they do it? Like, how do people do that? Because that is such an important part to, I think, your messaging.
Yes. Remember that any judgment is usually something that you're trying to confront inside yourself. So there's always something that is vulnerable about the things that we're judging other people for. Now, it doesn't mean that necessarily people may not deserve certain judgment, like if they're doing something really illegal or whatever, but when I've noticed that, like, I get judgy, or I'm like, oh, why is this person doing that? Like, this is so annoying, I always go back to, first of all, how is it affecting me? Like,
Right.
sometimes we get judgy because we're like, this is affecting me and I don't like it. But another deeper part of this really is like, what is the part of me that is not getting expression, that I'm not allowing myself to express, that this person is expressing, that my soul, ego, consciousness, whatever, is responding to, and being like, yeah, you're judging that person because you wish you could express that.
Yep.
I got this a lot when I was an actress, because like I kind of went on this other path, and like a lot of my family did a lot of traditional things, and I just remember always feeling like definitely the black sheep, like, oh, I'm doing this weird thing, and I did get a lot of judgment. And I remember saying, I don't know if it was to a family member, but I remember I got up the guts to basically say to somebody, you're judging me for this because you wish you could do it, or you wish you could do the thing that you really are passionate about. And that's usually what's going on with judgment, envy, jealousy. Please know this. It's a part of yourself that you have either not accepted or you have not given any space or witnessing to. And usually these are the most tender parts of ourselves.
Yeah.
It is the parts that were abused, humiliated. Maybe there was violence. Maybe you just felt like it was not safe to be who you were. And see, this is the other thing. When we see people that are shining in their element, and maybe these are billionaires, celebrities, just maybe people in your town, they just embody like themselves. Many times, these are the people that get the most judgment. Why? Because most people are so stuck in their programming. And a part of them is like, you could do that, you could be that. And their programming is like,
No,
no.
I
And
can't.
so,
Nope. Nope.
and so when that happens, you really got to look at, what part of me am I stifling? It could
Yeah.
be several parts, and I think too, I'm going to say something kind of radical here. And I know the spiritual community may not like me, but
We'll see.
judge. So listen, if you're going to judge, be in your judgment fully and then become curious about it. So let's say someone's really bugging you. Just be in that. Like, be like, God, I'm really judging this person right now. Like, I really do not like what they are doing. Sit with it and don't tell a story. Just sit with the energy. What does this feel like? It actually feels like envy. I think I'm actually like
Mm.
envious of something in this person, whether it's their personality, their life, their success, whatever it is. You will find many truths about yourself, and sometimes we judge people because they're just not resonant with us. Like,
Right.
my spiritual teacher says, there's so much pressure in our culture to be connected to people. There's a lot of pressure to be connected. And she goes, but most people are not going to resonate with you. Like, there are groups of souls on this planet that are meant for each other. And she's
Yeah.
like, you don't need to be mean to them, or she's like, just ignore it, leave them alone. Like,
Yeah.
they're doing their own thing. They're in a different experience. So if you're finding yourself being judgmental or self-judgmental, there is something that is yearning for expression, and you're
Yeah.
not giving it expression. So just start to ask yourself, like, what part of me is judging this person? And what is the feeling behind that? Is it anger? Is it frustration? Is it I feel trapped? get specific with your body. Like I feel knotting in my stomach, my head, the left side of my head is pounding, like whatever it is. Once you start to get in there, you're going to start to get some information, and then ask your body, please, please show me what you want me to know here, because it will, and feel it. It's very hard to not get, like to intellectualize this.
Oh,
This is
yeah.
more about like, you gotta like put it down into your body. Like, God, I just feel my whole body is shaking. What is this shaking trying to tell me? It's probably just energy that got stuck, and like nobody ever gave you any stage to express it, And so now you have the power to do that, to say, hey, whatever this judgment is, bring it on, because I'm going to learn something about myself here. And so, and I just want to say too, try when you're judging, try not to judge yourself too much, because listen, we all do it. It's the
Yeah.
way that the ego works. It's the way the brain works. Sometimes we judge out of safety, or like, oh, I think I should stay away from that person.
Right.
So self-love really is about saying, yeah, sometimes I judge people, and it's okay, because guess what? The universe can handle it. Like, it's created all of this. Like, I think the universe can handle my judgment, and the judgment will pass. Like, once you know what it's about, it really will pass. And remembering too that this is your life. I mean, like, we're not going to have this day ever again. Like, we're going to have tomorrow and the next day, but this day is a specific frequency, a specific, um, you know, group of events is going to happen today. You're going to meet certain people today. So be present with yourself, be open, let life show you the path. And to anybody who does feel stressed about their path, or stressed, like, what is my purpose?
Or stuck.
Like,
what's a little thing they can do? Like, because I
yeah.
love where you're getting, like, just sitting with it, but I think
Mhm.
so many people are just like, you're losing me.
Mhm.
I can't just sit with it.
Oh,
How do
no.
we
So
bridge into that?
yes.
How do we like get into it? Like, try it on.
Yeah, exactly. So the first thing that I would do, and it sounds very simple, go for a walk. Even if
Yeah.
it's like 10 or 15 minutes. I just actually read this thing the other day that said, oh, it was from Dr. LaPera, who wrote How to Do the Work. And she's really, I love her Instagram posts, but she said, there's something about walking where the body can work a lot of stuff out, like while it's walking. Your brain works things out, your nervous system works things out. But here, I'm going to tell you something. I think a lot of people get obsessed with this idea of purpose, like, because we think of it as a job. Like, is my purpose to be a coach? Is my purpose to be a banker? Is my purpose to be a school teacher? Listen, your purpose is joy, 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 satisfaction, fulfillment, wholeness. That is your purpose. If you find joy through being a school teacher, if you find joy through being a banker, if you find joy being a coach, that's your purpose. It's to feel joy. And it seems very simple, because a lot of people are like, the point of life is this big, important thing. And it's like, it's really about consciousness, presence, enjoying where you're at. Like, wow, look at that beautiful flower. Oh, I like that person's shirt. Oh, I get to go to the store and buy what I want. Freedom is really about doing what you want when you want it, and giving yourself permission. So
Yeah.
feeling stuck, I'm also going to say this, feeling stuck is also a state of mind. It's a decision.
It
So
is.
the stuckness that you may feel is just energy that you've never been able to release. So walking, here's another one that I love for your nervous system. Do some humming. So this actually massages the vagus nerve, calms you down, and then gets you back into ventral. Ventral is your safety setting in your nervous system, so you can more easily hear your intuition. Most of the time we're up here, so you got to get down. So, and another one is actually, I do this a lot when I'm waiting in line. Sway, like just sway.
Sway all the time.
It's really good for your nervous system and for your vagus nerve. So just remember that any frustration you feel, stuckness, a lot of this is a decision that we've made about, we're comparing ourselves to somebody else's progress. Like, oh, this person, but I got to tell you, you don't really know what most people feel in their lives unless they tell you. So you can have a lot of assumption,
Assumptions.
about this person's happy. This person's happier than me. This person has more money than me. This person feels more fulfilled. You actually don't know that until you talk to them. And really, if you want to talk about purpose, it is actually so simple. It really is about enjoying yourself and feeling yourself as that consciousness, that connection, that person that knows exactly who they are and where they're going. And this doesn't have to be a specific job or even vocation. It can really just be, I embody the essence of presence, of beingness, of I am the magic. You know what, you guys, you are the magic. Just remember that you are the magic. And when you know that, like when you walk around, you're like, I am the magic. Like it is my vibe that is telling me to go here. There's a vibe that's attracting this to me. And when you really start to understand that, like, that is the whole point, like, you're like, wow, you're a creator. You're like this big conductor and you have an orchestra, and the orchestra is the world. And so you get to choose, like, I want that to play now. Now I want that to play. I want this to silence down a little bit. I want this to be louder. You know, I mean, I think the thing is, most of us have just been told that we're powerless, and we're not. You know, you are not powerless. Please, you are not powerless. And this is the first thing that gets in our head. And then we start making decisions from that place. Like, well, can't do anything about that. You know, well, this person just, that's just like that. And I just have to deal with it. Like, no, your power lies in your response always. Yes, there are things that, you know, we can't change laws like that. We can't necessarily, you know, we can't change all like full systems in a day, but you also don't have to be a victim to this at all. You know, you can say, this system is working for me. There is something about this system that's working for me. And you decide that, because guess what? You are the point of attraction. It's you. It's you. So yeah.
So tell us about your 30-day journal, and that you kept this very purposefully. And before we wrap up, I want people to know about that. This is not just something to read. This is, I see that during these 30 days and then afterwards, this becomes something that is kind of like, it kind of goes in your backpack. It kind of becomes like this. I just saw Dora the Explorer, backpack. Like I just saw like like, and it's funny. I haven't seen Dora in a while, but that's childlike, how and that frequency and that magical backpack. But I think that this is a part of people's magical backpack for the 30 days and beyond.
Thank you.
Tell us about that.
So the 30-day program, it's all in there in the book. So you can write right in. And quickly about the paperback. The reason I did it as a paperback only and not digital is because I want you to have a full experience. There's an experience of turning pages and like seeing your progress, being able to write it in the book. And that's why I did that, because I think a lot of us buy digital books and then they just get put in a folder and it's like, oh, I don't know where that book went. So whatever. But when you have a physical copy, there's a calling to it. You know, there's like, oh, I can get my hands on it. It's tactile. It's real. So you feel like, and it's a journey. The book is a journey too. So as you turn each page, you really feel like, oh, I'm like going on this path. So the 30-day program, what I've done is I've basically made it like a call sheet in the entertainment industry. So a call sheet is your daily schedule for the day. And it's where you would see the actors when their call time is, what they're going to be doing that day. And so I mirrored it after that. So it's basically going to go through each of the techniques and it's going to prompt you. So like the first one is pick your costume, which is what you're going to wear, you know, every day. Then you're going to write your script. And I say, like, what's the affirmation that you want to be talking, you know, saying to yourself today? What is the new belief that you're going to be practicing today? The stage makeup is like, put on your stage makeup. That's kind of the essence, the attitude that you want to take into your day. So maybe it's like, I'm going to be very surrendered today and see what happens. Or, you know, I'm just going to have gusto today. And like, everything I do, I'm going to do it with gusto, no matter what it is. So you're going to go through like that, and it hits every single acting technique in the book and just prompts you. And then take that with you. You can take a screenshot if you don't want to take the whole book with you, but take a screenshot or take the book with you. And then you can reference during the day and just go through and be like, oh yeah, when this happened, I said my affirmation or I did my visualization. So I ask you to do a visualization. Like I ask you to Pick something that you want to rehearse, and these are all, and you'll see it as you go through each section, because you'll have a workbook section too that you can draw from. So, and you do it right in the book, because like you said, it is so powerful to write things down. There have been numerous studies on the power of actually physically writing and it going into your brain and going into your muscle memory. So there's been a lot of studies. Actually, a lot of actors, they use that to learn their lines. Like if you have just a lot of lines that you got to learn, a lot of actors will just actually write them out over and over again. And then that helps them to remember, gets them into their muscle memory. So I will say this about the program, you guys, it's really fun. And I think that so much manifesting techniques, they become very serious, because sometimes we want to manifest life-changing things. And so it feels very serious. Like, I need more money. Like, I need more money up in here. But I got to tell you, if you have more fun, the money will show up a lot quicker, because the universe delights in having fun. And it also delights. I mean, hello, look at all it's created. Like, it did this for fun. Like, we're supposed to enjoy all of this. That is what creativity is. So as you go through, I think you're going to really find how much of yourself is beautiful and powerful and aligned. And so much of the stuff that you've been told, either by your caretakers, your parents, your peers, this culture at large, is just stuff that you have taken on that really wasn't yours to begin with.
Nope.
And you've played these things out. And a lot of times this is why people wake up in their 40s and they're like, who am I and what is my life? Because all you've really been doing, not to have a pun here, but you have literally been reading someone else's script. Literally, you've been reading their script and you've been like, oh, this is true for me, but I never got a chance to write my own script. So this is your chance. And the book also goes into a lot of spiritual things. So you'll have more understanding of the ego and the soul, which I think is very misunderstood in spiritual circles, the ego especially. And I also give just some personal things about acting and how it really helped me, just some personal things that I went through. So I just think it's a lot of fun, and it will help people find their joy again. Really.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh my goodness. I think you and I could talk for hours.
I know,
just
we
letting
could.
you know, we could just let it flow. Where can people get this book outside of Amazon? Because there's a bookshop in Santa Cruz.
Yes.
There's Two Birds Books in, I'm going to say, is it Capitola?
Yeah, Capitola.
Woo!
Yes.
Yeah,
You got it.
Right?
Yeah, so it is. So right now it's on Amazon. It's at Bookshop Santa Cruz in Santa Cruz, California. You can also order it online from Bookshop Santa Cruz if you'd like. And there is, I think it's just one copy at Two Birds Books. It's just on the shelf, so you can't order from there. But I will say this, if you don't want to support Amazon, and I understand that, and you're far, far from Santa Cruz and you don't want to have it shipped to you from there, get on my email list for my book, and I can send you updates if I get it on any other platform. So you can just go to my website,
And that's
Wellness.
Total Wellness.
Copywriting
email. And I will put that in the show notes that people can
Okay.
see that. So everything's in writing. And then also the links
Thank
to
Yes.
the different bookstores and Amazon. Okay. What do you want to leave everybody with?
Just remember that these things are actually more simple than sometimes they are explained in spiritual culture. I think there's a lot of, because there's so many techniques, and I think we can get lost in it, but keep it simple. If it makes you feel good, go with it. If you get something in your body where you're like, there's resistance, or you're like, ooh, I don't know if I like that. And you will start to get this more because you're asking for it. You're asking your body to let you know what's up.
Right.
Go with that. Make it simple and keep doing things that make you feel good. You don't necessarily have to be like, oh, I feel really good about money today or really good about success. Just feel good. So get in nature, be around trees, only talk to people that bring out good stuff in you. And if you have to talk to people because they're your family or whatever, keep it limited or show up in a different way. But my main message really is keep it simple and enjoy yourselves more. And just remember that self-love is the biggest biggest thing that you can expand in order to really see your life shift, because that's what we really all want. We just want to feel loved and we want to feel accepted, especially by ourselves. So keep it simple and have more fun.
And
you will
remember
see
that you're
that.
stardust.
Yes, you are stardust. Yes. Remember that too.
And remember that you're stardust. Okay, you
Yes.
guys.
Yes.
Elizabeth Gordon. I'm going to show the book one more time just so you know what the
Thank
cover
you.
looks like. It's such an honor. I'm so glad we connected. This actually ended beautifully, and
Yes.
what an optimal interview. And again, you and I need to connect again soon.
Yes, we do. Let's do this again.
This is
We will.
fantastic. Okay, everybody, this is Kelly Wagner, publisher of Edge Magazine and the host of the Being Curious show with the amazing Elizabeth Gordon. And I can tell you've done a lot of work. Like you've done it. And I want to let anyone know it's always good. It's always good to partner with people that you know that have been in the mud puddles and they've been down the wells and they've done it, and they come and they smile and they sparkle because they've earned it. And we are divine and we're stardust, and I'm leaving it with that.
Yes.
Thank you, everybody. We'll see you
Thank you.
soon. There we go.
Yay, Kelly, that was awesome. Thank you so much. I'm so glad we did this.
Yeah, that was really, really good. And